Jonathan Hayes was one of the richest businessmen in the city. He owned luxury hotels, expensive cars, and a mansion so large that even visitors got lost inside it. Yet despite all his success, Jonathan trusted no one years ago. His former accountant had stolen millions from him. Since then, he believed that everyone had a price, friends. Employees, even family, could betray you if enough money was involved. So whenever he hired new staff, he secretly tested their honesty. His newest employee was a quiet young woman named Sophia. She was a widow in her early 30s and the mother of a 7-year-old daughter. Every morning she arrived before sunrise, cleaned every room, carefully watered the flowers, and quietly went about her work. She never complained, never asked for favors, and always smiled politely. The other workers admired her, but Jonathan remained suspicious. "No one is that honest," he often muttered. One morning he decided to prove himself right. He unlocked the large safe in his private office, leaving stacks of cash, expensive jewelry, and rare watches clearly visible. Then he intentionally left the safe door wide open, before quietly hiding behind a security monitor in another room. He crossed his arms confidently. "Let's see who you really are." A few minutes later, Sophia entered the office carrying a basket of cleaning supplies. She stopped immediately. Her eyes widened as she noticed the open safe overflowing with money. Jonathan leaned closer to the screen, expecting temptation to take over. Instead, Sophia quickly looked around. She didn't take a single step toward the safe. Instead, she quietly walked backward out of the office and gently closed the door behind her. Jonathan frowned. What is she doing? A few moments later, Sophia returned, but she wasn't alone. She had brought the elderly gardener with her. "Please stand here for a moment," she whispered. Mr. Hayes forgot to lock his safe. "I don't want anyone to think I touched anything." The gardener nodded and stood outside the office, while Sophia hurried to call Jonathan's assistant. When the assistant arrived, Sophia spoke nervously, "I think. Sir accidentally left something very important unsecured. Could you please lock it before someone gets into trouble?" Jonathan stared silently at the monitor. She hadn't touched $1. She hadn't even entered the room again. Without witnesses for the first time in years, his confidence began to crack. Still, he wasn't convinced. Maybe she's just clever, he thought. The next week, he arranged another test. This time, while Sophia was dusting the library, Jonathan quietly slipped an envelope containing $5,000 under a chair. After Sophia finished cleaning, she noticed the envelope. She picked it up carefully. Jonathan watched through another hidden camera. Instead of opening it, Sophia walked directly to the front desk. "I found this," she said. "Please check whose money it is." The receptionist looked surprised. "Nobody saw you pick it up." Sophia smiled gently, but God did. Those 4 simple words struck Jonathan harder than he expected that evening. He couldn't stop thinking about them. The following morning, he arrived at the mansion unusually early. As he walked through the kitchen, he heard soft voices. He stopped outside the doorway. Inside, Sophia was eating only a piece of bread with tea. Another maid looked at her sadly. "Why don't you buy yourself proper breakfast?" Sophia smiled. "My daughter has a school trip today. I wanted her to have enough money to enjoy it. And I'll eat well." Another day, Jonathan looked down quietly. The woman he had suspected of stealing couldn't even afford breakfast because she was putting her daughter first. For the first time in many years, shame crept into his heart. Later that afternoon, Jonathan asked Sophia to come into his office. She stood nervously by the door. "Did I make a mistake, sir?" Jonathan took a deep breath. He walked toward the safe. "I owe you an apology." Sophia looked confused. Jonathan explained every test he had secretly arranged. The open safe, the envelope, the hidden cameras as he spoke. He couldn't even meet her eyes. "I believed everyone could be bought," he admitted quietly. "I was waiting for you to fail." The room became silent instead of becoming angry. Sophia simply smiled. "My father used to tell me something." "What was that?" Jonathan asked softly. "He said money can replace many things. But once you lose your character, no amount of money can buy it back." Jonathan felt tears fill his eyes. Those words reminded him of his own late mother, who had once taught him exactly the same lesson before. Greed and betrayal hardened his heart. He sat down slowly. "I've spent years protecting my wealth," he whispered. "But somewhere along the way, I lost my trust in people." Sophia answered gently. "Not everyone wants what you have, sir. Some people only want to sleep peacefully at night." Jonathan lowered his head. For the first time since becoming a millionaire, he cried not because he had lost money, but because he realized how much kindness he had lost inside himself. The next day, every employee was surprised to receive a generous bonus. Jonathan also announced something unexpected. From now on, every employee's child would receive educational support through a company scholarship program. When the staff applauded, Sophia quietly stood in the back, smiling. After the meeting, Jonathan handed her a small envelope. "This isn't payment for your honesty," he said. "No one can buy that. It's simply my way of saying, thank you for reminding me who I used to be." Inside was a full scholarship for Sophia's daughter, along with enough money to cover her school expenses for years. Tears filled Sophia's eyes. "Thank you, sir." Jonathan smiled warmly. "No." He replied, "Thank you." Sometimes the greatest treasure isn't hidden inside a safe. It's hidden inside a heart that refuses to compromise its honesty, even when no one is watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us get closer to our goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers, so we can continue sharing inspiring stories of kindness and hope. Thank you for being part of our journey.